call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. I will have the invocation at this time. I don't see anybody from the police chaplains, so we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance at this time. Commissioner Pratt, will you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have roll call.
Connor,
Present.
Kadich,
Here.
Mocha,
Here.
Sanchez Garcia is absent. Bogort,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Okay, any subsequent need items?
There are none.
Okay, I'll take a motion for the approval of agenda as posted or amended.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mocha, second by Kadich. Connor,
Yes.
Kadich,
Yes.
Mocha,
Yes.
Bogort,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, I'll take a motion for the approval of the minutes from June 18th, 2025 regular meeting.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Kadich, second by Connor. Mocha,
Yes.
Kadich,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Bogort,
Yes.
motion passes.
Any petitions or communications?
There are none.
Great, thank you. We'll move into the public hearings. Item number 2 on the agenda is public hearing to consider adopting a resolution recommending City Council adopt zoning ordinance text amendment number 25-12-0100, amending Chapter 17.16 low-density residential districts of the Atwater Municipal Code to adjust the setbacks for R15 in Section 17.16.050 of this chapter. We'll open with Mr. Connor.
So when we were looking at the general plan and looking at the code, we were noticing some inconsistencies. Specifically, we're looking to amend the Atwater Municipal Code, section 17.16.050, to read as follows. We'd like to reflect an increase, the minimum front yard setback, the exterior, from 15 to 20, and the minimum rear yard setback from 5 to 15. So in in your packet, you can see specifically what we're talking about for the front and back for the different zone types. Happy to answer any questions from the committee.
Any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. O'Connor? No? I'll open the public hearing at this time. If anybody from the public would like to comment on this, please step forward to the podium. Seeing no rush of people to the podium, we'll call this back and close the public hearing portion and bring it back. Do the commissioners have any final questions that they would like to ask about this?
Can I just give clarification what the setback or for the sides of the property, what that is?
We're not making any recommendation to change the side setback, so I could tell you for different zoning type those
Okay.
changes, but I wouldn't want to confuse it here, so nothing changes there.
Nothing
We're just-
changes there.
We're just trying to make it consistent.
The front and the back? Okay. And is it gonna have any sort of impact on making lots unusable because they may be shaped smaller or larger? the
This was
setbacks
mostly
increased?
ministerial, so that we can make it consistent in the code and the general plan.
Okay.
Okay, if there's no further comments, I need a motion to make a finding that the action is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines, section 15061B3, review for exemption. Under the common sense exemption, and adopt resolution number 0273-25, recommending the City Council adopt an ordinance amending section 17.16.050 of the Atwater Municipal Code related to low-density residential district setbacks.
I'll motion to approve. Excuse me.
Second.
Motion by Kadich, second by Connor. Kadich,
Yes.
Mocha,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Bogor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 3, public hearing to recommend that the City Council of the City of Atwater adopt zoning ordinance text amendments number 25-13-0100, amending Chapter 17.12, Administration and General Conditions of the Atwater Municipal Code to adjust the expiration of site plan approvals from 6 months to 5 years and modernize certain other parts of the chapter. I'll open the public hearing at this point and turn it over to Mr. O'Connor.
Sure. We are trying to streamline permits, become more business-friendly, and stay current and competitive with other jurisdictions. So a few months ago, we updated the conditional use permit extension from 6 months to 5 years. So we're looking to do this as well with the with site plans. So what this specifically will do is it will allow applicants to get a site plan approved, and they'll have 5 years to act on it. In the past, every 6 months, they'd have to reapply for an extension, asking staff for it. We are changing this to make it a right versus them having to come to staff and continue to ask for it. So I believe this will make us more business friendly, streamline permits to support us, speeding it up here at the city.
Commissioners have any comments or questions? No? Then I'll turn it over to the public. If anybody would like to speak for or against this particular item, please step up to the podium.
Question on this. Do you guys know, is this going to be like whenever the legislature approves extensions and things like that, is it going to be retroactive on expired maps within the last 5 years?
We specifically left that out, and we want to, right now it's going to be staff policy, but we're going to go back and make it retroactive.
Okay, thank you.
On a staff level, but not in.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to come in and apply for an extension on a map that expired 2 years ago, or a site plan,
Yep.
they can come in and you guys will grant them the additional 3 years.
Yep, so we've already went in and looked at those, and we're going to be, if council approves this, because they haven't yet, so it's got to go up to them, then that is our intention as part of the rationale to be business friendly and try to speed things up. We didn't want to put it in here because some of the challenges is it might be misconstrued in future years where they would say, all right, well, it's 5 years, but you could extend it a little bit more from there. So we wanted to keep it clean, but then be able to administratively go back and do it for everybody.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. So are you supportive of it?
I'm supportive of it. It's kind of dangerous at 5 years though, because most cities do it 2 years because of building code cycle changes. So it's dangerous.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No, then I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the dais. Anyone have any other questions or comments?
I do. So based on Adam's comments and concern, it's my understanding that this was being recommended because city nearby, Merced, already has that in their code, right?
So we looked at similar jurisdictions and surrounding jurisdictions, and we found most of them were moving to anywhere from 2 years to 5 years. So based on that, after staff reviewed it, looked at the other jurisdictions, we wanted to be the most competitive and the most business friendly that we could. While there could be potential challenges around updating the building code, right now the state of California paused new adoptions of the business code to try to be more builder friendly in California. So I see that trend continuing to happen, and I want us to be as business and building construction friendly as we can. So that is the impetus or some of the reasons why we're doing this, making this recommendation.
Thank you.
So I just have a question, building off of what Mr. Reed brought forward on this with the building codes. Is this going to create an issue down the road when somebody that's had their extension of 3 years now all of a sudden has building codes that have changed, and they're still going to be under an older building code, which means the building department is going to have to kind of know that in advance as they go through those and keep things consistent to what was approved, not consistent to what the current code is. So we could, if California brings that in every couple of years, we could have 3 different building codes on projects that have sat for 5 years.
We are just looking at the expiration of site plan approvals. So this is just a part of the building code process, but not the entire process. So the same thing that we looked at for conditional use permits, we were just looking at bringing that from 6 months to 5 years. We're just looking at specifically the site plans, moving it from 6 months, so not the entire package.
All right, so this is not a completely approved project that's sitting for 5 years waiting to go.
This is
just a site plan
This is
currently.
specifically for the site plan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, I'll take a motion to make a finding.
I just have a question. I think dangerous was an interesting choice of words. Can we have him elaborate on maybe why? Maybe his background could show like why that is. I'm just curious. Is that possible? We could call him to the stage and ask, or
What is that?
because gentleman in the audience said it was dangerous to keep it for 5 years. So I'm just
Yeah.
interested
I
in
don't
what is
think it's
thinking
dangerous.
behind it.
Typically,
Yeah.
the code has updated every couple of years.
Right.
2 to 3 years they update the code.
Yeah.
Currently, that's kind of in a lull. I
Right.
don't know where that's really going with the state. But with an administration change coming in another year and a half, that could change and go back to the norm again. We don't know.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's dangerous. It
Mhm.
just could cause a little confusion if it was final approved plans and stuff, but it's not final approved plans. We're talking about site plans
Site
at this
plans.
point.
Okay.
Makes a big difference. So there's not going to be really those code changes that are going on. It'll still be consistently with the code
Mhm.
as they bring those updates in. So
Okay. Yeah, because I understand why this is a good idea, because it would promote businesses to pursue projects here or to continue projects here. So I just was curious that we look into all things, but that answers my question. Thank you.
Right. Mr. Reed just caused me to think about that for a moment, but Mr. O'Connor kind of settled that in my mind. That, okay, yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I'm thinking of finished package. So okay, are we done? All right. Call for a motion to make a finding that the zoning ordinance text amendment is categorically exempt under California Environmental Quality Act CEQA guideline, section 15061B3, and adopt resolution number 0274-25, recommending City Council to adopt zoning ordinance text amendment number 25-13-0100, amending Chapter 17.12, Administration and General Conditions of the Atwater Municipal Code to adjust the expiration of site plan approvals from 6 months to 5 years and modernize certain other parts of the chapter.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Connor, second by Mocha. Mocha,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Kadich,
Yes.
Bogart.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 4, a public hearing to recommend that the City Council of the City of Atwater adopt an initial study and mitigated negative declaration in accordance with California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, for the Osborne Park Expansion Project, and approve General Plan Amendment Number 25-01-0200 and Zone Change Number 25-01-0300 for the project located at 501 East Bellevue Road, Atwater, APN 156-060-008. I'll open the public hearing and turn it over to you, Mr. Connor.
Actually, Justin is going to speak about this one.
Yeah, I can speak to it. So first, there's a clerical error in the title of the public hearing. the commission's not going to be recommending an approval of a site plan. The wording's in the public hearing, but it's not actually in the action. There is a conceptual site plan that you can see in the environmental review, but that isn't going to be the site plan. That was done just during the environmental review process. We had about 2 stakeholder meetings on this project and had probably less than 10 people show up to give input on what they wanted out there at Osborne. So I think staff's gonna go a different direction, reach out by email, by text MyGov, by Facebook, and see if we can get some more results back of what people actually want at Osborne. We do know this project is mainly to expand the parking lot. I don't know if you guys have been out there when out where Little League's playing and the parking lot fills up. People have to park across the street at the community center, walk across Bellevue. The past 2 years now, we did get we already got pre-possession rights on the property next door. If you want to put up the map, right next to Osborne Park. So now people have been parking there, even though it's not paved anymore. So this project will push out the parking lot, and then we'll have the extra amenities, and then kind of base it off of what the residents in the city want for those amenities. So two of these properties we have pre-possession rights. The third one we're still negotiating on, which is the property behind Mister's. Currently, right now, these are all zoned commercial, but with this recommendation, we're looking at rezoning them all to parkland, and then obviously putting the park there. Also, staff is looking for the recommendation to approve the ISM&D. The only mitigation measures for this project is just the normal ones, like during construction, if they see discovery of tribal or cultural resources, obviously you have to stop. And then also for greenhouse emissions is to install EV chargers. And both of these are already required by state law. So we would have had to follow them even if they weren't in the environmental review. If the commission has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I have one.
Yeah.
Isn't this the same property, or is it adjacent, where you were talking about putting a retention pond in?
So the retention pond's adjacent. So if you look at the land that's in between the red lines, the storm basin is to the left of it in that other empty field.
Okay, next to Food for Less there, then.
Yeah.
Behind the,
Yeah, and the thought would be the city would own all those parcels, and then you wouldn't have homeless back there nonstop like they are right now.
bingo.
Yeah. I think Daniel's out there quite a bit, and our crew's out there quite a bit trying to move them out of there. Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll open it to the public. If there's any comments, pro or against this item, please step forward to the podium.
Well, this agenda item ruined my entire day, and now you guys changed it. So there was, the title said site plan and environmental adoption, or, recommendation of environmental document, initial study, and maybe a negative deck. But the only information that was in the packet was a site plan. But have you guys all did you guys all review the ISM&D? You guys are a CEQA authority. There's only like 3 CEQA authorities in the city, and you guys are one of them. I didn't see it in the packet. I had to dig around on CEQAnet to find it. So, but that's all. I just want to make sure everybody, if you guys are making a decision on CEQA, I hope you guys take it seriously. So, because I didn't see it in the packet.
So it looks like Justin caught something before people like myself and Adam are going to get up here and talk, but I'm still going to bring it to the table. So what you showed was a site plan. It was a preliminary site plan. It was supposed to be voted on tonight based on the documents. Okay? There was nothing about that site plan that was valid, that was legit. We are held to a higher standard than what we have seen in the past from not only your engineer that you hire, But this is exactly the type of situation that we've dealt with for years. We are held to standards. As a matter of fact, Michael Hayes put a pause on an outwater feed rebuild project over storm drain. And on your plan, obviously prior to this meeting, we thought that this is what you're going to vote on. And this is what's being submitted. There's no storm drain, there's no ADA, there's no path to travel on this plan, and this is what's being submitted to you guys. You are the finding authority of all these projects and everything that happens. If you remember, I had 147 conditions of approval on one of my projects, and thankfully you guys saw right through that. But I had to bring it to your attention, and it got it down to 53 or 57 of that nature. The reason I'm bringing this up is because if you have a site plan that's supposed to be approved, that's going to go to council, and that's exactly how it looks. This is a little ridiculous. And I'm not trying to upset staff or create an issue, but we're held to a different standard, and this proves it. This shows it. This shows that your own engineering firm doesn't have to abide by what you're making us do. We get comments and comments and comments and comments and delays. 6 or 7 delays on projects. Okay? That's what we were going to discuss tonight. This is a problem. Whether or not they're going to be here much longer, it doesn't matter. The problem is it's affected projects. It's affected all these things for years and years, money after money, time after time. I'm still working on a project that Adam started designing in 2020. Now, granted, in the past 6-8 months, I've seen some changes, and I've gotten to get through that. But think about that. 5 years to get a project to the finish line, and then you're submitting this for everybody to review and potentially council to pass. It didn't even have 88 parking stalls. Think about that.
If the ISMND didn't get put in the packet, then the commission should not be making a vote, and it should be pushed. If it didn't get put in the packet.
I would have to state that I'm a little confused by, first of all, the comments, in the fact that everything I'm looking at here does not say anything about approval of a site plan. There is a site plan in the project documents that have been submitted, but that site plan lacks approval of a site plan. So if it is a drawing for reference purposes only, then I'm not seeing anything, because within the resolution itself, there's nothing that actually specifically speaks to a site plan in what I'm looking for. It's calling for the adoption of initial study and mitigated negative declaration through CEQA. It's calling for approval of a general plan amendment and a zone change, but it does not say anything about the site plan in this. So I'm confused in that matter, because they're referencing something that says site plan, and I'm still finding it in my document.
Yeah, hold on, I got it. So in the title of the public hearing, right, if you're looking at number 4, it says about 1, 2, 3, the 4th line says approve site plan, which there was no site plan up for approval tonight. This was just a conceptual that was used in the ISMND. But if the ISMND is not included in your packet, then this should be pushed. Because that, if you can't review the environmental, how you can make a recommendation? Like, this should be continued.
If that's the recommendation, we'll call for continuance on this item.
I agree, yes.
And we'll continue it to next month's planning commission. Okay. Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
And in order not to republish, but we should probably republish, you would just continue the public hearing. And then you can say the date out loud, and that would be the proper way to do it. Is just to say that you're going to continue it to the next planning commission meeting.
Continue it, and then we'll open the public hearing portion at the next.
Yeah, just don't close the public hearing. Yeah.
Do you need him to say that again?
Just that You're going to continue to the next planning commission meeting, just don't actually physically close the public hearing.
Okay,
And we won't actually vote or anything.
so do you want me to close the public hearing first or after?
No, do not close
Okay,
it, just
We're going to
continue it.
continue this item
Yep.
to the next planning commission meeting in September, and I'll close the public hearing at this point.
No, do not close it.
No, we're not closing.
Keep it open.
Because we're reopening then.
Yes, because we're going to
Thank
continue
you.
it, yes.
I hope the audience got that. Okay, let's move forward then to the Community Development Director verbal updates.
Thank you. We've been working to revamp the department in community development. As of right now, we have close to 100 building permits on backlog. We're doing a variety of different initiatives to try to get out of that. We're in the process of hiring 2 planners. We are switching from VVH Engineering to QK Engineering to be our staff augmentation engineer, at least on a temporary basis. We've moved staff around. We are working with our provider Cloud Permit to do everything we can to optimize the system. It appears right now we are doing an older file-based system plus the online system, which is taking longer. We're doing sort of 3 sets of bookkeeping to document all of our financial transactions with finance. So we're working to streamline all of those things to try to get us out of the backlog. We're looking at different implementation methods for over-the-counter permits to approve those faster and quicker. And we're in the thick of it. I'm meeting with as many developers, contractors, applicants as possible to try to tell them it will get better, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I ask for patience, but I'm also extremely open for applicants coming in and bringing their issues or problems for us to try to work on solutions that support the community and support the applicant. So that's all I got there. Is any questions about the department update?
Thank you.
The next item is a discussion items around a potential program for residential carports. So in your packet, there's a staff report. So the background is there is in the Atwater Municipal Code, it states structures that are allowed to be built. However, there's some restrictions around setbacks and type of structures. In the past, there's been selective enforcement around carports, and over the last couple of years, the staff's direction has been to do complaint-based enforcement or no enforcement at all. So this was requested by Planning Commission members to do some research and make some recommendations. So before I talk even more, we invited Code Enforcement Manager Daniel Garcia here tonight so he could testify and talk about his experience out there. He works really hard with the community day in and day out, spends a tremendous amount of time on homeless issues, but also spends a lot of time looking at buildings and being responsive to community complaints. So I drove around with Daniel a couple weeks ago to look at different parts of the cities, look at carports, look at pergolas, look at a variety of different things. But I want to thank Daniel for making time coming this evening. And please, if you get the microphone from Justin, we can.
Thank you. So some of the issues with the carports around town, and be the same for the pergolas, is we run into, mainly there's a wide range.
Daniel, your mic is not on.
There's a wide range in construction profiles for each. You can tell some are engineered, whether they're pre-engineered from a company and they bought them, versus some are merely tarps and poles erected to hold it up. Many of these, a large portion of these are in obvious setback violation, as well as the pergolas in the backyard. I think the pergolas, backyard pergolas in violation of setback would actually supersede the carports. I would estimate a couple hundred around town, but it is a increasing construction or build around the community. So the danger we see on them, most people wouldn't think that a carport would be a danger, but we're starting to see an increased amount of them that actually have sides of stamped metal. So the issue that causes when you pull your car into your carport with sides, there is no view of the public sidewalk as you back out of the carport. So that is a safety issue for the citizens, as well as the municipal code violations of the setbacks.
Do you have any testimony about the extent of unpermitted carports in the city, or the type of structures, anything like that you'd like to let us know?
Yeah, most are unpermitted. I base the unpermitted off, if they went through approval, then obviously they would be in violation of the setback and they would never be approved from the get-go. Many of them are, around town are within inches of the structure itself. So when I drive by and I see a new one's been erected, and it's literally touching the eave of the house, it never would have passed approval in its current configuration. And then you look at them, and if they're not going through an approval process or any sort of an inspection process, then I start to question, how are they anchored? How are they, what's the safety of the carport? The really concerning ones are the ones with a tarp or fabric top. As we know, we've seen with pop-up tents, doesn't take much air or breeze to lift those, and now we have it rolling down the street. And the second part of your question?
I think you covered it.
Okay.
Just type of materials and extent.
Yeah, there's a wide range of constructions. Some are very elaborate and some are not so elaborate.
So we're specifically asking for consideration and direction, but not a vote on this. So since this is a report, this is based on the work that staff's done, talking to different departments, looking at the extent of the problem. So we came up with three directions that we could go to then bring back to this body. So, excuse me, one would be to establish a pre-approved carport program similar to our pre-approved ADU program. So that would be contracting with a designer, architect, engineer to design 2 or 3 different styles that could be pre-permitted, meaning that the applicant would still have to apply, but they wouldn't have to spend the money on those plans. So that's option 1. Option 2, we looked at front yard setbacks, which are right now on average around 20 feet. So we looked at if we created a minimum of a 5-foot separation from the property line and the structure, then that could help bring into compliance the 10 to 15% of the households in the city that are out of compliance. Something I want to state about this is ultimately, I believe people are putting carports up for health, safety, and to protect their property. So usually we have over 100 days of 100-degree weather, does damage to vehicles. By getting in a very hot vehicle, that's a danger to health and safety. So I believe the citizens of Atwater are doing this for a reason and not wanting to break the rules. So I'm for one, a path to compliance. And option 3 could be we do nothing and we continue to do a complaint-based enforcement program is based on what is happening right now. It's based on health, safety, or complaints. Is that accurate, Daniel?
Number one complaint when somebody has a new carport in, usually it's a neighbor or somebody in the neighborhood, and they don't like the appearance of it. They don't like the one that they picked. They don't like the ones with the sides, we do try to at least talk with the homeowners right away to at least get the sides removed for the safety factor of the citizens. So those we try to get on. But yeah, the number one reason is we had such a beautiful neighborhood, and now look at this carport. You know, I want it taken down. So that's the most common complaint.
So I'd just like to open it up for comment or discussion. So again, this is for informational purposes only. No actions required. This presentation is for informational purposes only.
Well, I've been working on this for a while, and in the area that I live, I have every one of those ones you're talking about, you know, all within a 2-block radius of me. I have the nice one, I have the tarp one that the tarp blew off during the winter. I've got the ones with the sides that I think people are going to take their head off with because of the sides. And then there's also the one that is the traditional 4x4 into the concrete bucket along with the tarp over the top, which is a modification. So I've also been in touch with many of the contractors locally in the area that actually do the pergolas and such, the aluminum type and such, you know, asking if there is a way that a carport could be designed that would be aesthetically something that would work within our region, but at the same time, what was their current issue with even doing that? And the number one issue with that was, of course, setbacks. I know that we've been given 3 different approaches, but you know, in my mind, there's an issue if we just go with the setback, and that is the fact that we're going to have whatever somebody creates to themselves. You know, that they say, I think this is good. This could be scrap pallets that they've torn apart or put together or something. It seems like they're, you know, that maybe looking along the lines of an ADU type plan, maybe something that is at least designating bolt down patterns, the significant structure issues that have to be addressed and the setback issues at the same time. So there's at least some consistency, because if there's going to be an opportunity for people to actually take that, and I know that feeling myself. I've got, you know, a $40,000 vehicle that sits in the driveway during the 100-degree weather. I'm the guy that said I've got, you know, my older, you know, truck that's got a tarp over it in order to protect it from the weather and protect the paint from the weather, just because my garage only fits a single car in that garage, even though it's a double car garage, just because of the way that it's built. And so, you know, so I too have a significant investment sitting out on that driveway, along with everybody else. Cars today average is $50,000. I can understand them wanting to have a way to protect that. I think if we're going to offer a way, though, it has to be something that works across the board for as many people as possible, to give them some degree of what needs to happen to make sure that when we get that 100-mile-an-hour gust during the winter, and we do, that it's not going to be blown over 2 doors down on somebody else's property or blown up in the air taking out something. So I do see the necessity, I see the desire for that from people, and I hear the desire from that from people also. Fabrication can be done to meet those tolerances and meet those standards, but I think the city would need to actually look to the contractors or look to engineering to engineer something that would kind of meet that guideline, so people aren't using the poles and saying, well, I bet my setback, that's it.
So if we did move to work on an item like number 2 and adjust setbacks specifically for carports, then that would still require a permit to come into compliance, and it would still have to be built based on the building code.
And that would be great, because then that typically pushes people more towards either a contractor to install something that's going to be significantly structural in nature, rather than just go out and put something in. The setback alone would be, you know, the concern that we have maybe some model that they could adhere to for what would be required structurally and anchoring to make sure they're down. Those ones you're talking about with the galvanized press sides at $7.99, and then you just get the extra leg set and put it up. There's a lot of those that are around in our town too, and I just see those as a hazard, and I also see that as something that's not aesthetically pleasing either in any neighborhood. So
Yeah, and a common thing with the carports, but more within the pergolas is, you know, people get them put up and then, well, it'd be nice to add some lights out to them. And then we see, you know, the Romex going up the side of it. So if we're gonna make the guidelines for maybe different pre-approved models, we wanna put something there about the electrical that would change the scope of the build if we're now adding electrical to it, as opposed to just merely a carport.
Danny, Romex is too expensive. Extension cords are much cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, you run them, you plug them in the garage and run them outside and up the lake. So
Can't be used for permanent wiring.
the orange ones. Anyone else have comment?
Yeah, I would just weigh in with, yeah, I think, you know, as we're updating and standardizing all of our plans and programs and all of this, that there should be a standardized project or standardized setup or system for pergolas and carports especially. I mean, the carport thing, I have heartburn over those too, so. And I have a $100,000 truck sitting in the sun. Yeah, so I get it, but I won't put a carport.
Question, do we have like data on how many complaints we've received for corporates in the past year or so?
I could pull the numbers. We keep all the citations issued in our record management system at the PD. Right now, I'm definitely getting more complaints of unpermitted pergolas than carports. But it is summertime. Everybody's wanting to use the backyard, and there's no better time to add a feature than summer, spring. So historically, we get more complaints during this time of the year.
Any like lately accidents that have occurred from the carports in the past?
No, none attributed to the carports, but like I mentioned, if I do see them with the sides, to me, that's an immediate safety issue. And at the very minimum, I really press those owners to get those side panels taken off, so at least there's the opportunity for a view when exiting your driveway.
So is there a general consensus recommendation that we could actually give to John that he might be able to take back and
Well,
honor and work with, or?
for this item, what I would like to basically just to take the feedback, and then I can come ahead, come up with a program that then you could vote on, and you know, with some options. So don't want to put us in a point where
Do you think you have enough information from us at this point to
I'd love to.
feel like you have direction or anything? Or?
So far, but I'd like to hear from everyone if the opportunity to comment.
Yeah, so I will echo the sentiment of, I believe that some pre-engineered stuff to help streamline for the residents that have the money and the means and the ability and can hit all these setbacks, right? That's great for them. But I know, like, just personally, like, I live on Drakely, half of old downtown Atwater, right? These setbacks, our driveways are literally, like, we couldn't put up a carport because of where our grandfathered in driveway is, right? So I believe that the setbacks are going to be an issue for, and I get that some standard isn't going to work for everybody, right? But I feel like half of the city, the older construction, this isn't going to apply. So I guess my sentiment would be, if we are going to do something like this, I would still be a very big proponent of not going and citing people unless there's complaints, unless there's a real safety issue. So I would just be, I guess my thought process there is, as long as we're not going to go back and make it a thing where we start citations, right? Big fan of just leaving people alone.
I do think any direction that we go, we'd work with code enforcement to create a time period to allow people to come into compliance, instead of just on day one, you know, starting to go out and being punitive. I think if as a city we haven't enforced something fully, then if we're going to make a change, that we should give people time to do that. Because based on enforcement priorities, we don't have enough budget to enforce the entire municipal code all the time, every day, in every place. So code enforcement has to work with, through PD, with building, with other health and safety requests. So because they work so hard and do such a great job, they can't be everywhere all the time. So as a city, we have to make priority choices. This is one of them that we, as a city, deprioritized. unless it's an issue with health and safety or complaint.
Yes, so I like that you could give people like an amnesty, right? Like that's cool for the ones that are in compliance and for the people that do want to quote unquote be on the right side of the law. But then there's going to be the other 50-60% of these that are just simply 2 feet away from their property line, right? So I would just say we still just maintain the policy of nobody's complaining, we don't knock on doors, right? Like if we could do something like that, if we could put together a package like that, then I would for sure be a fan of it. But if we're gonna say like, well, after 8 months and we're driving around and we're on Drakely and Daniel's doing something with somebody and he looks across and he's like, oh, well, Sean's carport's out of compliance and I'm here, so now I can go over there and put a ticket on his, like that, I'm not a fan of that kind of idea or philosophy.
Yeah, so typically in code enforcement, whether it's a blight issue or an AVA, in the role of code enforcement, if I go to a violation and I can visibly see a matching or similar violation, it's appropriate to cite that one also so that the enforcement is administered fairly. So if I go out a complaint with some sort of front yard blight and I look across the street, we would not leave until everybody was cited commiserately with why we were there. So with the carport, that could potentially be an issue to do one, but not do another one in sight. That would be.
Yeah, so here's a scenario. Like you get called to a meth house because they got a bunch of trash, but then 2 doors down, there's a clean cut yard with a carport. Would that be enough justification for you to slap a citation on them because you got called out for like trash in the front yard, or?
No, it's more towards the complaint. So the city of Atwater, you have to have a maintained front lawn. So if I go to a house and somebody's made a complaint of, hey, it's a dirt front lawn. So if I go out there and I'm going to cite that property for the lawn maintenance, and to the right and to the left, there's dirt front lawns, naturally we would cite all of them evenly and fairly. That way the perception is it's getting administered fairly, commiserately for the neighborhood. So no, I wouldn't jump the scope of the complaint and make it a free-for-all for the block. That would be inappropriate.
I would say that makes sense. Having done inspections for many, many years, it was up to me to ensure that I was fair with each person across the board, regardless of how I felt about the matter. I didn't really have that choice. My occupation, my job, and my standards required that each person was treated equally, and so if I cite one, I had to cite another one for the same exact violation or something. So I agree with you, Daniel. I absolutely, it's hard because we can't get our emotions into our occupation.
No, and we don't make it, if we get a complaint on a cul-de-sac, that's not a free-for-all to just go wild on the cul-de-sac. We don't enforce the code that way now.
You're not out there going, ha 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 ha.
No. We just always looking for compliance.
Thank you.
No. So Janelle, do we open it up for public comment at this point or at the next item for public comment?
No, you would open up public sorry, I said no, but I mean yes. Yes, you open up public comment specific to this item, and then the next would be public comment for not items on the agenda.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we'll move to the notice to the public. At this time, any person may comment.
Don,
on any item.
sorry, Chair. You need to open up public comment for that item that we were just.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to open the public comment and read the notice to the public. At this time, any person may comment on any item.
Chair.
Not.
So you need to open public comment for the item that Director O'Connor was just speaking of.
Okay, well, I'm confused because.
I think I confused you
Okay.
because I said no and then yes, but, so we need to open up public comment regarding the item that
So
Director O'Connor was
public-
speaking of.
The public would comment at this time and not when actually the ordinance would come through or the resolution would come through?
No, so they can speak on the item.
Now also?
Mhm.
Okay, then, forgive me.
No,
I'll
forgive
open the
me.
public comment. Adam?
Yeah, hello. I like that you guys are looking at things like this. I think there's already enough in the vehicle code and the city code as far as setbacks and stuff that you can enforce the safety issues. I would really like if you guys would like start like working on like stuff where you could like go into like people's backyards and remove the dump sites like I've got next door to me. That'd be a really cool thing. Because I know that Daniel can't do anything if he can't see it behind the fence, even though there's pests and rodents and, I mean, trash higher than the fence, the entire backyard, garbage. So that'd be really cool to like focus on that maybe. But I heard a couple times maybe that there might be like people are in favor of like pre-approved plans. Absolutely not. That's tax. You guys are going to pay tax. You guys are going to use taxpayer money to engineer plans for people. Like you guys have to do it for the ADUs because the state forced you to. Well, man, am I losing it tonight? Because I heard you talk about doing pre-approved. You guys mentioned pre-approved. I think the item in the packet says something about pre-approved plans, and I think somebody had commented on that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this, but if that's the case, if there's no expectation of doing any pre-approved stuff, cool. But if there is, like, I'm not for spending taxpayer money on pre-approving pergola plans and carport plans.
So pre-approved plans was just one of the options when looking at this item. So yes, that was one of the.
Well, I was just told
items.
that it wasn't even discussed, is what it seemed like. But okay.
Yeah, no, we discussed it. Yeah.
And I did make a comment to like pre-approved standards, so that those standards were known that they would have for looking at carports, so they could bring plans in for a code compliant. But okay, so we can close the public comment period? Okay. We'll close the public comment period. Now, we'll take comments from the public. Notice to the public, at this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record. However, it is not required. Action will not be taken on any item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and/or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. I'll open this public comment period. And I will close this public comment period. We'll move to Commissioner matters. So I'm going to go to my left first. Commissioner Haddock?
I actually have nothing tonight.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Commissioner Connor?
I'm excited that we have a focus on streamlining permits. I'm excited that we're trying to be competitive with our neighbors to the north and the south, and I think that that's going to be big for Atwater and getting everything online. And you've got an uphill battle, and I appreciate all the effort that's going in there, and I look forward to seeing the streamlined processes and the fruits that bears in the future.
Mr. Boca?
No comments tonight.
Okay. I just have a final comment. I just want to commend you on what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve with the department. I understand the frustration that some of our contractor base has because of the fact that we've had this problem for quite some time, and it's continuing to ongo, and I think there's some desired hope for an achievement in the right direction. I know you're focused on that, and I know there's a lot of moving parts to that. It takes time to turn a ship around. This is not just a small thing that you have to turn around. So I want to commend you for your resolution to doing that, and then just ask our citizens to continue to have patience as you work through that. It will just take time is what it takes, but at least it is the focus and it's the goal of achieving that, and so therefore they can help by actually fostering anything they can do to support you in that, or come in and talk to you about any of those issues too. So that's all that I have for comment. If there's no other comments, then we will adjourn this meeting.